Have you ever wondered if you are actually growing spiritually? It is easy to assume that because you know more verses, attend more meetings, or have been a believer for many years, that you are moving forward. But imagine getting into your vehicle and driving for 10 straight hours. At some point, you have to look at the map and ask, am I actually getting closer to where I am trying to go? That same principle applies to our faith. To measure progress, we must first define the destination. The Apostle Paul lays this out in Romans 8:23 and 24. We wait eagerly for our adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we were saved. If the destination is the redemption of the physical body, then the process leading there involves a gradual shift in how that body operates. We are looking for the biological and spiritual indicators that the influence of death is being replaced by the influence of life. We cannot rely on feelings or popularity to measure this shift. This allows us to audit our lives by looking for tangible benchmarks of forward momentum. We are identifying the specific biblical indicators that show whether a believer is actually advancing toward the resurrection. The first piece of evidence starts internally, with an appetite for spiritual nourishment. 1 Peter 2:2 says, "Like newborn babies, crave pure spiritual milk, so that by it you may grow up in your salvation." This craving for truth is the starting point, but growth is seen when that appetite translates into action. While it is possible to acquire information without changing behavior, God measures progress through obedience. The Apostle Peter provides the benchmark for this process in 1 Peter 1:22. Now that you have purified yourselves by obeying the truth, so that you have sincere love for your brothers, love one another deeply from the heart. This illustrates the mechanics of sanctification. Every act of obedience weakens the influence of death in the soul and body. As the habit of obedience scales upward, the influence of death, manifested through the works of the flesh, proportionately drops. A believer who responds to God more quickly today than they did last year has visible evidence of spiritual life. This change in responsiveness indicates they are making progress toward the goal. Consistent obedience produces a transformation of character. Luke 2:52 says, "And Jesus grew in wisdom and stature, and in favor with God and men." As believers mature, they become more stable and dependable, demonstrating an increase in grace and mercy. This stability is rooted in wisdom, which is the functional ability to apply truth correctly. Wisdom allows a person to make decisions that avoid damage and to recognize deception before it takes hold. The writer of Hebrews establishes this benchmark in Hebrews 5:14. But solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil. Maturity produces discernment, and discernment leads to a lifestyle of steady righteousness. Matthew 5:20 says, "For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven." Righteousness forms a protective lifestyle that pleases the Father. As these standards become consistent, the mature believer recognizes spiritual traps and avoids them with increasing ease. Eventually, these traits will be stress-tested. Proverbs 24:10 says, "If you falter in times of trouble, how small is your strength?" While it is easy to appear strong during times of ease, the real test of faith occurs during adversity. Spiritual stamina is the ability to continue obeying God despite intense pressure. When obedience becomes costly, a growing believer becomes harder to discourage, distract, or stop. Trials that once defeated them lose their power as their strength increases. Proving faithfulness through increasing levels of testing and opposition is the ultimate indicator of growth. The Lord gave this command to the church in Smyrna in Revelation chapter 2. "Be faithful even to the point of death, and I will give you the crown of life." These tests occur because enduring the crucible strengthens the believer. It demonstrates that their faith is developing the capacity to carry the weight of immortality. This diagram illustrates our spiritual journey. We audit our lives for these benchmarks: obedience, wisdom, stamina, and righteousness. Together, they form a single trajectory. Each victory and step in sanctification acts as momentum, moving a soul toward the redemption of the body. Religious activity can often mask a lack of progress. The diagnostic audit requires looking past the schedule of meetings to find these specific indicators of growth. Keep the hope before your eyes. Keep growing. Keep obeying. Keep pursuing righteousness. And continue pressing toward the goal. Pursuing these benchmarks daily is the process by which the promise of the resurrection becomes reality. Keep moving until that hope is realized.